Hello, and welcome to the Delusional Boyfriend Book Club. My name is Courtney, and I'll be your host. And today we are talking about December's BL manga of the month, Mobsters in Love. This is written by Chiyoko Origami, and this story is going to be our only teen story, I think, that we've had all year. But despite that, it is an absolute instant favorite of mine. So, this story, as far as tropes go, is going to be workplace romance, mobster romance slash yakuza romance, green flag fluff romance, age gap romance. And it does age gap so well, you guys. I am dying. It is also a love triangle, miscommunication trope. It it has a lot of dynamics that I do and don't like. And yet, surprisingly, I think it's a flawless story. And that is saying a lot when it doesn't have any smut in it. So, our first volume here is all we're going to talk about. I do have volumes 1 and 2, but there's a third volume. So, instead of powering through volumes 1 and 2, I thought I would do this episode on volume 1. And then when I get to volume 2 and 3, I will do a follow up episode and tell you all about how these guys resolve their romance. And before that, in this episode, I can go over my predictions for volumes 2 and 3, which I'm really excited about. So if you guys are interested in getting these, I have the physical editions. They're printed by Tokyo Pop. I'm not sure where they are available online, but I'm sure that somebody has the license to these if you do want to read them online. And I know for a fact that they have a Kindle edition. So go check those out, read legally, support the author. With that being said, the author and the artist is the same here, and their style is really good, really cute. Hold on, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you guys should go follow us on YouTube so that you can see me right now. I'm dressed for a holiday party, so I'm in like a cutesy little thrifted vintage dress. I have red lipstick on. I'm really cute, but I'm also able to show you some like examples of what I'm talking about. So the art here is really good. Of course, it's all black and white because it's manga. It's not a manhwa. We don't have any full color, but we do have them in full color at the beginning of the story, which is really nice. So our main character is going to be Aki. And Aki has black hair. He's younger. He is the like protege, or he's a right-hand man of the Sawatari family, which is a Yakuza family. So he is being trained basically by him, or groomed for a lack of better words, to become his predecessor, I believe. So we've got an interesting dynamic because this character was on the younger side when he was taken in by this Yakuza boss. In my head, he wasn't crazy young, but it remains to be seen. I have not seen a number put on the backstory yet of when he came into his care. So he started being trained by the Yakuza boss. And the Yakuza boss, as you can see, I'm not even sure we ever get his name, but we just refer to him as boss. And he is this like golden, or what do you call it? He's a silver fox, and he took in the younger character, taught him how to be a mobster, taught him how to be ruthless. He walks around in his traditional Japanese kimono and has this grace and wisdom about him. And at the beginning of the book, our character Aki, basically we start with them both at the compound, or the Yakuza head's house, and he's his bodyguard. He's watching out for him, and he wants to go for a walk, and the bodyguard says, okay, I'll go with you. He clearly loves him. From all of the artwork, you can tell he's got a sparkle in his eye for this man. So when the boss says, no, I'm fine, I'll go by myself, don't worry about it, and the bodyguard cannot leave his side, protests, even though this is his boss, it is a very cute dynamic because both characters are very strong. They're very manly. They're both violent and dangerous. And the bodyguard is doting on, or being protective of, this older gentleman who used to care for him. So the dynamic has flipped there, where the one who used to be the caretaker is now getting taken care of. And I know that that is gross and creepy. And I didn't say trigger warning grooming because I didn't find this to be problematic. It is much more like an apprenticeship, I think. I don't think it's a paternal dynamic, and I don't get paternal feelings from the older gentleman, from the boss. I get the feeling that he wanted to protect and make a good gang member out of this person, and very quickly realized his own feelings for him, or his potential feelings for him. So I think he's tried to kind of avoid a paternal dynamic. He does make a mention of when they were younger, they'd go to the bathhouse together, and now the younger character doesn't do that as much anymore. And I'm hoping he's referring to him being younger as like 18, 19, 20. That's when I met my husband, and that's not too young to like know who you love in this life. So that is where I would draw the line, though. Our older character goes on this walk. The younger character makes an excuse to follow him, basically. And as he does, he gets stopped by a member of a brothel, so a lady of the night, and she starts sweet talking him, and the older gentleman turns around and says, "Oh, funny seeing you here. I didn't realize that, you had the night off so you'd come to a brothel, but have fun, you two young kids." And the younger character, Aki, gets so upset that this older guy, who he has been pining for years, and who his only job is to keep safe and happy, might get the wrong idea that he goes to brothels. So he runs after him, and while he's doing this, the older gentleman had already been getting surrounded by punks in the street. And those punks in the street are, of course, from the other Yakuza family. So what happens? But our beautiful main character breaks up the fight, knocks everybody out of the way, and gets on his knees in front of the Yakuza boss and says, "I swear to God, I don't go to brothels. I cannot have you thinking I go to brothels." And the Yakuza boss goes, "I don't care about the brothels. You just knocked out everybody in basically one fell swoop in your rush to get to me and set things straight. You are an incredible bodyguard, and I just couldn't do it without you." And he constantly kind of pulls this other character close to him and hugs him and gets in his ear to like whisper nice things in his ear, and he praises him all the time. And it feels very intentional to me, and it did also feel like he put himself in danger to see his bodyguard come get him. I love this. I think that this couple is so freaking cute, and because there's no smut, this is rated older teen, there are these moments where they barely almost touch, or they get really close, or in one instance, he hands him down like a button-up shirt of his and then a kimono of his, and we get to see that kind of intimacy between them, and it's just like such a shallow, brief glimpse of it that you want so much more. And I think that tension built in the story is really valuable and really good. And sometimes when the first page of the story starts off with just like flop, 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 when sex is like the first thing you see, sometimes you miss these moments, and these moments are really sweet, especially in a green flag story where you wonder, why didn't they get together in the first place? Why is it taking them so long? And you start to see the dynamic of both of them not wanting to ruin things and being shy and trying to protect their original relationship at all costs. I think that is really special and unique and beautiful, and the story does it really well. When he's trying on his kimono, he goes to like adjust his neckline and kind of like pushes him to the ground and adjusts it. And because there's an excuse for why he could be doing that, it's not blatantly hitting on the younger character. We get this drawn out through the entire book, this drawn out question of, is the older character actually flirting back? Is he just very affectionate, flirty old guy who goes to brothels and does all this stuff and doesn't really draw the line between his coworkers seeing that side of him or not? Or is this like, is he trying to like find his moment to confess to somebody who he's been in a friend zone with for years and years and years? And before the friend zone, maybe in like an inappropriate age gap, but they're finally at this time where both of them could reasonably be together. It's so good, you guys. So as we go through the story, we see them go to another dinner, and that is with the head of the mob that attacked them in the alley. And they're going to like make peace, So they get there, and he tells his bodyguard, "You can head out and just watch outside, but we are respectfully having dinner, so there should be no issue here. And while he's outside, we see him kind of getting irritated that he's not right by the boss's side. And the boss is inside talking to this other mob boss, and the other mob boss is saying, I want him in my Yakuza clan. I want your second in command, so give him to me. And our mob boss, our main lead, our love interest, he is not having it. And he says basically the only reason that he's as good as he is because of me. And he would never be loyal to you. I've trained him to be loyal to one person. So working for anyone else, he would be useless. All he would be doing is fighting to get back to me. And in that moment, the other mob boss gets so mad that he like snaps his fingers and tries to get his guys to come in and whack our male love interest, our boss. And in that moment, instead of his guys running in, nothing happens at all. He goes, guys, come in. You're supposed to come in. And laughingly, he opens the door and shows that his second in command is already taking care of everybody without even knowing that he was going to be in danger. He snuffed it out before it could present itself. That's how good he is. That's how loyal he is. That's how protective of this older gentleman he is. So they get out of there, and we see as they so they get out of there, and as they return, we see that so they get out of there, but I'm sure that this other mob boss is going to have a lot to do with our continuing volumes. When they get back to his house, we meet another character. And this is where the love triangle comes in. And it's not exactly as I thought it would be, because when we first meet this new character, he's a total brown noser, little femboy character. And he immediately clings, stage 5 clinger all over to the mob boss, and Aki is not having it. Clearly jealous, clearly irritable, and the mob boss doesn't want them fighting, so he has them both go on a mission together, and we meet this character Ritsu, and Ritsu happens to be working out of town for the Yakuza boss, but he's basically the third in command, and he calls Aki captain, which is a very hot nickname, and I'm really into it. So he calls him captain, and he's basically the vice captain, or the second to the captain. So they go and work a restaurant together that the Yakuza offers protection to, and they scare out some bad customers. And while they're there, we get a little bit more of their personalities shown. So Ritsu is really good with the customers. He's good on his feet. He's charismatic. People love him. But when he sees the bad guys and he's supposed to lay down the law, he gets totally carried away with his violence. Very attention grabbing and flashy, whereas Aki, our main character, doesn't operate like that. And that's why he's second to the boss, because he's more reliable and more responsible and can handle things with a gentler hand, at the same time being more effective while causing less of a scene. Very admirable. I love both of these characters. I find all three of them really sexy. When Ritsu gets back to the house and they're getting their like job well done, there's also a point where Ritsu says, I am doing this to get the boss's praise, and we haven't gotten his praise in a while, so you better take this seriously too, Aki. And Aki realizes he's right. Okay, well, if I take this really seriously, maybe the boss will pay me attention. After they get done working that job together, the boss gives them their kudos, and they are living all in this house together while Ritsu is in town. And Aki goes to tuck the boss in at night or check on him while he's sleeping, and Ritsu's spying and sees Aki kind of lean in close, tuck him in, and almost go for a kiss. When he comes out into the hallway, Ritsu tells him that he spied him and says, why didn't you kiss him? He was asleep. You would have never known. And Aki says, I will never force myself on the boss. I sincerely care for him, and that is not going to be the way that I do things. And Ritsu takes that moment to pounce, and he jumps on Aki. And I thought Ritsu was pining for the boss's attention, and that's the game that the author plays on you, is you think the love triangle is going to go that direction with both of them pining for the boss. But no, this other character gets on top of him, kisses him, and says, I think that being forceful is just fine. As long as the person is looking at you, what does it really matter how they feel about you? What does it matter if they hate you or they're angry at you, as long as you have their attention? And it's so toxic and so bad. And that's when we realize that he's absolutely not talking about the boss. He's talking about Aki. He loves Aki. And I fell in love with his character right then. I think he's catty. I think he's emo. I think he's sexual and vindictive and has an agenda. And I love that drama. I love that complexity. I'm really excited because, as you can see, in the second volume, we have another character being introduced. And in the third volume, I think he's on the cover. Now, that character, I believe, no spoilers, but I think that's going to be Ritsu's love interest. And I'm really excited to see if our secondary couple is going to be even cuter than our primary couple. I cannot wait at the end of this volume that the boss sees Ritsu kissing Aki, breaks it up, and Aki had earlier when Ritsu taunted him, Ritsu was like, I'm going to get the boss. I'm going to get the boss. And Aki kind of proved that he did have a crush on the boss. So now Ritsu knows that Aki loves the boss, and the boss knows that Ritsu is hitting on Aki, but the boss doesn't know how Aki feels about Ritsu. And Aki doesn't know how the boss feels about Ritsu, and it is this perfect love triangle. It is amazing. Also, both of these two characters, the younger ones seem to be in the younger 20s, maybe like 26, 27, whereas the boss is like 40, 45, which is an age gap I really like. Of course, if he picked him up like 10 years ago and he was like 18 when the boss picked him up, then maybe the boss was 35 and he was 18, which is a little bit scandalous. But again, it's right on the good side of an age gap, so I'm not worried about it. If you are really nitpicky, maybe this isn't the story for you, but I think that it teeters the line in a good way. It's also rated older teen, so there's something explicit in here, and we meet these characters as they're well into their adulthood. And the boss has given Aki, while he has made him a perfect right-hand man, he would give him any opportunity to leave, I think, if he sincerely did want to leave. So unlike most Yakuza situations where there's that element of coercion or, being like held against your will, I don't think that's happening with these two. I think it's a lot healthier. I think it's totally green flag. So I really love, even though I usually don't like love triangles, I love this love triangle. Even though I usually don't like older teens, I really like this rated older teen book. I wish it was mature. Yeah, I wish the third volume would be mature and we could get like an uncensored chapter, of course. But do I also think that this is a really good option for people who are sex averse but love romance, or asexual people who are not aromantic who still really like to read these kinds of stories? I think this would be good to anybody who finds explicit imagery affronting and not helpful to their romance books. I really like explicit imagery, so if you're like me, then maybe that's a point off for you. But I do think that the moments that are cute and intimate in here are made even better because we don't get very much. So what we do get, we're really grateful for. We get some like imagined moments between them that aren't happening in real life. They're just happening in our character's imagination. And that's nice. And I could really go for some spicier moments like that, even if it's not full on uncensored hardcore intercourse. I would love to see something naughty. I would love to see like a dirty grinding session in the back of a car. At the very least, that's still rated older teen, right? So with all of that being said, this is kind of a 5 out of 5 read for me. I'm absolutely going to read volume 2 and volume 3. I will circle back around for you guys and release an episode on that. My delusional boyfriend from this story is Ritsu. And I know that's a crazy thing to say, but I think that oftentimes when I relate to a character, I do find them very attractive because I find my way of yearning, while toxic and not recommendable to others, I think somebody who kind of can't control themselves but act out a brat. Like, I think a bratty character is really fun and dynamic, at least to read and at least to be. I love being that kind of character, so I'm very attracted to it. In real life, could I handle it? No. So would I date Ritsu IRL? Probably not, but I need to get to know him better because maybe he's the exact kind of person that I would let be a brat. I don't know. Sometimes that face card just never decline and you got to let it go. So Ritsu definitely doesn't like stand up to any of my other 2025 delusional BL boyfriends, but take that with a grain of salt because I still haven't read volume 2 or 3. So with all that being said, thank you so much for joining. And I cannot wait to tell you guys who's guesting on the podcast in 2026. But if you are a BL girly or a BL boy, and I hope you guys all know, I use girly as inclusively as any other term like dudes. So if you're Fudanshi, if you're one of my trans friends out there, if this is the Delusional Boyfriend Book Club, you are all my girlfriends, like my girlfriends who I'd have at my slumber party. So if you guys are listening and you guys follow any big creators on Yowie Talk, I just want to say that a couple of them have agreed to guest next year, 2026, and it's going to be so cool. So please follow along. Make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel so that you can watch the video when it's posted, as well as turning on auto downloads on your podcast app if you can. If you listen on the podcast app and you turn on auto downloads and I release a bonus episode with a special guest or something that's not planned or something that isn't according to the book club calendar, then that will appear in your library immediately and you'll be able to see and be ahead of the game and in the loop and on top of book club details before everybody else. Of course, I'll also go follow our socials if you can. We're on TikTok and Instagram. And again, really trying to learn YouTube this year. 2026 is going to be my year to like figure YouTube out. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me and following along and being OG listeners. I'm going to release the calendar for 2026 as soon as possible. I'm thinking that I'm going to shoot for like the 20th. I definitely have commissioned the coolest fucking t-shirt and bookmarks and real calendars that you guys will be able to buy for me. So make sure you keep your eye out from that. The only thing that's holding up releasing to those two right now is that I'm working on the blog and giving it a big old beautiful facelift so that it's worthwhile as we continue to grow together. So thank you guys so much. If you're not an anime fan or a One Piece fan, I just want to encourage you to kind of jump on board with the rest of the Book Talk girlies who are reading One Piece, because my husband and I will be doing mini episodes about One Piece where I ship the characters. I get his input on who he thinks the most likely ships would be, and we just discuss all things manga. I'm really excited about that. I'm trying to like draw him into this world as much as I can because people like to see him on camera, and I spend so much time doing this kind of content creation that if I could have my husband around in here a little bit more, then that means I get to spend more time with him. And I really like to spend time with him. So he is excited about the One Piece episodes. He's also excited about a couple others, like a bonus episode on Moriarty the Patriot. So get ready for those and give him your little nice comments down below if you found me because you saw a funny video of Wolfgang buying me a bunch of BL or whatever. He loves it when you guys say, "That's a good man, Savannah." So when you see him in 2026, say hello, encourage him, and thank you everybody for coming along this journey. This is like a dream come true. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. And if the holidays are hard on you, I just want to let you know that I'm here for you. Your delusional boyfriends are here for you. And 2026 is going to be a kick-ass year. So hold tight, binge some steamy romance, and I promise there are better days just ahead. And if the holidays are your favorite time of year, then I just want to say thank you for letting me be a part of it. And thank you for tuning in, even when there's so much going on with your friends and family. It means the world. And until next time, remember, sometimes the delusion is the solution. Bye.